Last time we were here, we added camera shake directly inside of Niagara to further elevate our effects without having to go through the tedious process of setting up blueprints, synchronizing this, that, the other thing. Blech. We are artists, we want to get straight to the artistic point and realize our vision without having to contend with a mountain of technology. This video is going to present to you the other cheat code for improving your VFX, and that is sound. Adding a sound is going to be executed in much the same way as we did with the camera shake. Instead of referencing a blueprint and a blueprint component like last time, we're going to create something known as a sound cue, which can dynamically pick from a pool of different sounds and create something that isn't repetitive. First things first, we're going to right-click, add emitter, empty, just like last time. We do not need sprite renderer at all, once again, because this is not visual. Delete that, switch emitter state from system to self, loop behavior from infinite to once. Under render, click the plus icon and go to component renderer. On the top right, where it says component type, we're going to type in and select the audio component. If you scroll down just the slightest bit, you will see it says sound. Under this, we're going to click on the drop-down menu that is currently labeled none, and we are going to click on sound cue. Select a location to save this, and give it a name that corresponds with the particular element you want it to correspond to. In this case, it's going to be the sword slam, so I'm going to create sword slam sound, or whatever. Now that we have created the sound cue, we can double click it to go into it, and you will notice a singular output node. This output represents the sound that you will eventually hear, and on the right hand side we have a lot of options we can use to control how the sound works. So for the sword slam, I'm going to open my sound folder and I'm going to drag in a bunch of sounds that correspond to roughly the same thing. The important thing in this case, because this is an impact, is that the sounds have the same start. The waveform begins at roughly the same point in each of these, so that playing random ones doesn't have the main impact start at a different location. What I have done here is created multiple little containers, each of them consisting of multiple sounds of the same type. One of the keys to having a sound that is engaging and enjoyable is to A, get rid of repetition, and B, layer multiple sounds to create something that has depth and isn't just an isolated soundbite. The way we are going to accomplish this is by randomly picking from each one of these containers and then combining the output of each container into one sound. To do this, we are going to go to the right of our screen and we are going to drag out a random node. We're going to plug each of these sounds into it, and now that we've run out of space, we just click add input a couple times to give us the inputs that we require. To practically test how this is working, we can click on play cue on the top left to hear what we're getting. As you can tell, it's playing a random sound each time. Now we're going to do this for each of the others, and we're going to combine them all with each other using a mix node. What we have at the end with a lot of different sound effects is something that looks like this, randomly picking from each of the larger pools and combining them all into one final sound. It gives us a ton of variation, as you can hear. Now that this is done, we are not quite finished. Above me you will see that there is a little blue area called attenuation. This is how the sound behaves over distance. We are going to create a new sound attenuation asset, and we are then going to save this into our same folder. Now that we have that, we can double click it in here or in our content browser. This is largely dependent on what you want, so just play around with the settings until eventually you get something that you like. This can now be closed, and we head back to our system to time it. I want the sound to occur at the moment the sword once again hits the ground, which happens at 0.8 seconds. We are going to add spawn burst instantaneous and set the spawn time to 0.8. Now that this is done, it should work immediately. We have achieved audio satisfaction. I do hope this was helpful. Once again, I would very much like to see what you make with it. Please tag me on Twitter at SparrowTV for, lack of a better outro. Bye.